So this box has Godzilla and Superman in it. Not gonna lie, that's a pretty cool idea, but unfortunately this box is kind of a missed opportunity. It really could have been a whole lot better. Let's open it up, check it out, and of course do some toy photography. So finally, everyone's favorite super monster duo team is here. Superman and Godzilla. Everybody's favorites, right? Or, I mean, they're kind of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of amazing because I love Superman and I love Godzilla, but it is a little bit of a weird two-pack that exists. But there's a precedence for it. This comic book, really, like, who cares? This is so freaking cool. When are we ever gonna get a Superman and Godzilla pack? Like, ever. And there's one real reason I'm excited about this pack, and honestly, Superman's my favorite thing ever, but it's not because of him. It's just because of this size of a Godzilla figure. I don't really think there's a MonsterVerse Godzilla out there of this size that's articulated, right? Is there? I mean, NECA had some that were around this size, a little bigger. And I know Playmates does have a few this size, but nothing quite like this. Like, this is very interesting. And this is the first Godzilla that I've seen Mcfarlane make too. So I'm very curious about this figure. And hey, we got a Superman to go with it. And a little page puncher in here. And the funniest thing ever is I'm predicting this right now. I'm gonna take a toy photo later in the video. It's gonna be this small Superman versus the big Godzilla. It's not gonna be in scale, obviously, but all of the comment section are gonna be saying how out of scale I am. And you know what? That's okay. This is just a really freaking cool pack. And like, how often are you gonna get this? Like, only in the golden age of toys and action figures are we gonna get something like this. So I did a toy hunt recently where I was really trying hard to find this figure in store, and I eventually did. So I'll have that video linked in the description. I found it at GameStop, and I've also found it in a couple other GameStops since then as well. So if you want to find this guy, I would recommend checking your GameStops. I'll also have some links in the description if you want to pick it up. It seems like you're gonna be able to find it, but it was pretty pricey. It was around like 80 bucks or so. I don't know, is 80 bucks high? You're getting a Superman figure with a wired cape, a little mini Superman figure, and a really big Godzilla. So, I don't know, does that sound fair? It kind of does, to be honest, but I don't know, I'll let you decide. So let's open it up. Hopefully this is gonna be awesome. I feel like it's gonna be. I'm a little curious, if you're just overall a big Godzilla collector, is this something on your list that you want to pick up? Or are you just like, pass, I don't want this. This is not in scale with anything I collect. I'm not interested. But I think the fact that it is so different is what's kind of bringing me to it. It's so big. It really is just a big Zilla. So here are our three guys. The Superman figure is actually, it seems like a pretty good looking figure. It's pretty much right up the alley of a typical Mcfarlane figure. I think the face sculpt is really good. It looks really nice, actually. You know, you're gonna deal with a big mouth wide open, but that is something different than a typical Mcfarlane Superman you'd find. So I think that is kind of cool. And what's really weird about it is the cape. So the cape looks great. It's wired and everything. I love so much that Mcfarlane's been doing that. But the wire's really thick. It's a lot thicker than other ones, which it really doesn't seem bad. Like, it's not a bad thing, it's just weird. I've just never seen or felt a figure with this thick of a wire in the cape. And when it's that thick, it really just articulates that much better. There's no problem with any bit of weight from the cape not being able to be held up because the wire is so strong, it's so thick. Like, that's like freaking wild. Look at that. I don't think I've had any figure with a cape that can do that. Like, that's pretty cool. What are we gonna give it, a W? That's not a W, that's a V. Never mind. Let's get into Godzilla and his tail. Plus we've got this little boy here. Welcome back to another Tale of the Tails, where we put a tail on the figure. This time we've got a huge freaking Godzilla tail. I feel like I've got a big turkey leg at a town fair and I'm about to chow down. It's really, damn, this thing is heavy. Ow, jeez. It's funny because he's heavy and the figure itself is pretty light. Like, this is a hollow guy. Even the legs are hollow. But this tail is not. This tail is heavy. So I'm assuming this is gonna be pretty easy. It looks pretty easy. His butthole's huge. So, okay, I'm sorry. If these tail segments are getting annoying, let me know in the comments and I'll stop because I'm really afraid they're very annoying. So here we go. Oh, okay, nice and easy. And I don't know if this is bendable or not. I don't think it is. Maybe a little bit? I think it is a little bit bendable. So here's Mr. Zilla. He's a big guy. All right, let's take a look at this Godzilla. So he's pretty big. He's a heavy guy. So it's really weird how like almost all of the weight is in the tail. So he's very heavy, but you know, like I said, all this is hollow. And his articulation, it's there. So you got a little, there's no hand, it's just like one point here, which you can move. It's a little difficult to move. There's that. You can move the head, so he can have him look in different ways. The mouth does open big, and that you can't close it. The tongue does not move, so that's about it as far as you can get with the head. And the leg moves. You can get a whole thing, and look at that. Oh yeah. So if you want Godzilla to sit down like a good boy, he can. What a good boy. What a good boy. He looks so funny. So there is that kind of movement there, and that's really it. There's nothing else. As far as articulation goes, I've covered it all. There's nothing else. He's really not much of a, he is a figure technically, but he's kind of like a movable statue, to be honest. Oh, wait, there we go. You can move this. I guess that's something. The detail isn't that crazy, to be honest. It's pretty straightforward. It's just like one flat gray and then a little bit of brushing of a lighter greenish gray. The face detail's a little bit more. You've got a nice red eye and some teeth and stuff. There's a little bit more detail in the sculpt in general. So it's a pretty straightforward kind of thing. It's not super crazy. It's, you know, it's bigger than a Haya or something, but you know, it's totally not nearly on the quality level of a Haya toys. But it's big, and that's, I think, probably the only thing about it. Like, it's weird. Oh wait, there's a little bit more paint on his belly. His belly's got a different color paint on it. It's weird because I really like it. Like, I think this is cool, but the quality, it's not bad, it's just kind of cheap. So this is the little page puncher guy, which I don't have any of these figures, and so this is really the first time I've really opened it up. So he's got leg articulation in the hips to do that, and he does have like little ball joints for the arms, so you can move them all around, which is actually more than I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be the same thing as the legs, but on the arms. So you can do a little bit of this, but there's no elbow or knees, so you really can't get a cool pose for, like, you know, fighting Godzilla. I'll probably do something like just like this for him. To be honest, I think it's kind of lame that I think it's cool that they did include a small Superman, but just the page puncher thing is kind of lame because it really is not to scale at all. Like, if they released just a tiny little micro guy like this big, barely had any, you know, detail, had a cape, didn't articulate, that probably would have been cooler, in my opinion, because it would have made more sense, and it would have been a new thing, and that would have been cool. I might be in the minority with that, it's something smaller, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking. This guy is I don't know, not doing it for me. So clearly this is a really big Godzilla, obviously. So how big is he? He's about a foot tall, 12 inches tall or so. And then if we're talking about all the way from head to tail, it's about 23 inches. If you wanted to compare this Godzilla to something else, this is how big it is compared to a Haya. That's pretty big. This is the Godzilla 2014 Haya, so quite the difference. He's pretty big. And then, you know, here's the SH Monster Arts Evolved Godzilla. Oh no! Godzilla, you're embarrassing me. Anyway, that's how he is compared to a Monster Arts also. So clearly, he's way bigger. These are clearly way better figures, but that's way bigger. So if you're going for size, then this is definitely the way to go. So here's just a quick comparison with the Superman. This is the Superman that came with the Doomsday from a couple years back. And yeah, it's the pretty typical Mcfarlane figures, Superman, but it is, you know, a different sculpt than a lot of other Superman figures. It's entirely different than this one, which is pretty cool. And the fact that he comes with 2 fists and 2 hands is great. Actually, consistent amount of fists and open hands is great. I'm totally in. Like, I like this figure a lot, and I like this one, like, I think even more. So you're getting a good Superman figure. I mean, as long as you like Mcfarlane figures, which I do, you're getting a good Superman. Like, that cape is really great. Okay, so the whole set, the set as a whole, are we gonna give it a W or an L? To be honest, it's kind of hard for me to give it a W. It really is. Like, I think it's cool. I really do like this, and I'm not regretting buying it by any means, but I do think it's pretty mediocre. I think that it could have been better. But I love the idea. It's cool, it's big, but like, I don't know, for the price you're paying for this, I think it could have been a little better. I think having a smaller Superman, like a tiny little micro one instead, or additionally, would have been great. Something that would be close to scaling with him would be so fun. Even if it was just a tiny little unarticulated micro thing. Those are probably cheap as heck to make, you know? That would have been even cooler. And I think the Godzilla is just, they could have made him better. Like maybe a little bit more articulation, maybe an elbow, maybe a little bit more in the neck so you could turn it more. This is just a swivel. Maybe something else with the knees, or maybe a little more detail. I don't know. It's just like, it's cool because it's really big. And I think that's the only reason why it's cool. And maybe that's because I'm spoiled by Haya Toys. I don't know, but it's not a W. I'm gonna give it an M for mid. I think it's mid. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is a huge L? Do you think it's a W? I think it is cool, but it's kind of hard to give it a W for what it actually is. I'm curious to know what you think though. All right, I still need to do a toy photo with this guy. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do, but I do want to utilize this set for what it is, and I'm going to use these two guys. Even though they don't scale, I think it'll be fun, and it's just going to be what it is, you know, shooting it for what it is. So let's go take these guys out and shoot them somewhere. Okay, here I am. I'm back here at Peebles Island. I just did a photo, you know, about a little hike that way earlier this week, and now I've got Superman on a stick, and he's fighting Godzilla. Yeah, this probably could have done better in a city scene, you know, more of a city-like environment, but I don't know, I feel like this kind of worked. I don't have any buildings that scale with him, so, I mean, this doesn't really scale either, so what the hell, but either way, I've got some little trees down here that are kind of cool. These are slightly bigger than the trees I usually use. And Godzilla's just kind of chilling there. And I'm at this spot here because there's nothing in the background. If I want Godzilla to look big, there can't be anything bigger than him in the background. You know what I mean? So that's why I've got this very cliff-like empty background behind him. And I'm gonna just basically hold Superman like this and take a photo. So with the sun behind him like this, my little light reflector, as always, will very nicely bounce the light towards him. There we go, which looks really good. And it's also gonna help bounce some of the light onto Superman. My settings for the photo, 4,000 shutter speed, 3.2 for my aperture, and my ISO's at 400. I'm keeping my shutter speed fast so I can still get a nice blue sky. If I don't, then it's just gonna be way too bright. It should be a big white sky, and I don't want that. So I'm really just gonna hold Superman in a couple places, hopefully get him on the focus line. He's sticking with some sticky tack back there. I don't know if you can see that. And hopefully we'll get a cool shot. So let's go and take the shot. All right, let's do a quick post-photo breakdown. Superman and Godzilla. Here's the final product, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm not totally crazy about it. I wasn't feeling quite as inspired with these figures as I normally am, and so I went with something that I think would have been fun and makes sense, and it fits, and everything scales. Not really, but I look at this photo, I'm like, okay, it looks like a product photo. Like if this were like on a website to promote and display this figure set, it would work. But to me, it just kind of feels like, but this is the before and after. So the colors and stuff were changed. I took out the wire stick for Superman, and I did also add some motion blur here on Superman to make it look like he's moving a little bit more. It does look okay. I just feel like the inspiration isn't as impactful. It's not as fun. But I definitely want some critiques, as always, because I definitely think there's some, of course, some things to be improved on. But either way, let's just run the end of the video. So overall, I thought this was a great concept. I thought this was a really cool idea for an action figure box, but it just did not meet the expectations. I think it could have been so much better and was overall pretty disappointing. But if you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. This photo will of course be posted up onto Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you want to follow my work on any of those platforms, it's all linked in the video description below. And as always, thank you for watching and getting this far into the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.